All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Hertz Sportsbook UFC 274 edition. And obviously, what that means is a huge pay-per-view is on deck this weekend. Tomorrow night, Charles Oliveira defending his lightweight title against Justin Gaethje, and what should just be nothing but fireworks from start to finish. And as far as this entire card goes, nothing but fireworks, hopefully, from start to finish. Just a bunch of great matchups, top to bottom. I've seen
UFC legends in there.
Yeah, a bunch of more than like usual, which is really cool to see. But
I thank the matchmakers for this pay-per-view and just the whole card.
No,
I love this one.
Yeah, because like in the sense that I'm gonna speak from is they're like the largest favorite on this card is a minus 410. Like, so very much minus two
no minus 2200.
Yeah, no minus
like
2200 favorites here, not even close. And yeah, just so many possibilities, and with these pay-per-views and whatnot, like people like tend to just I guess splurge a little more, and rightfully so, on like more out there bets and dart throws, that term I use from time to time. And yeah, like especially a pay-per-view like this where there's we've got 15 fights on the card, and
long night for the A team commentating. That's rough.
Oh yeah, man. They'll be all right.
Yeah, no, they do a great job.
They got it. But yeah, just as I was saying before, like the largest favorite on this card only being a minus 410. Like there are plenty of pick'ems to go through, and just obviously with the sites as well, they're not going to agree on everything. So we're here to break all of that down. Of course, get you right for this weekend. And yeah, what better way to get right into it than just straight from the top with this lightweight title main event between the champion Charles Oliveira and the challenger Justin Gaethje. And I mean, it's finally here, Rob. Like we've been talking about it. We've been just running it over in our heads over and over.
Yep.
And one more sleep until it finally culminates. And before we get into the the numbers and all that, just break it down real quick. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah. Anybody like who knows me definitely knows that I'm a big Charles Oliveira guy. Like I'm a believer in him. Always have been.
Yep.
Always will be until I'm given a reason not to. Yeah. So like I've been talking about him doing what he's been doing like literally since a long time ago. Like he was just like fighting on like the prelims at lightweight at that point. Like when I started to kind of see that like this dude had like some real potential at lightweight to be the champ, because he was beating guys like no problem. Like it's kind of crazy, and like they just weren't giving him big opponents. So like eventually as it went on, like then he beat Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson, and then obviously from there goes on to fight for the title, and then like it's just unbelievable to like see the rise of like what he's done. Like it's really incredible for him. But in terms of this fight in particular, I think the same thing I kind of thought going into the Poirier fight, just like a little bit different, because like Justin and Dustin Poirier like are they're pretty similar fighters, but they have like little things that they're like make them different. Like I think that Poirier is probably a better grappler, but I think Justin has a lot more power, and I think that his leg kicks are like legitimately deadly. But the thing is, like with Charles Oliveira, like everybody wants to keep saying that this guy's a quitter. Like how many fights of this guy, like if you not like Kevin Lee, even you can go back to there, like Kevin Lee was taking him down and stuff, but Charles was like,
and it's so funny. Like, how are you gonna put the word quitter to a guy who's literally a submission specialist? And like,
well, I mean, it's like because he had like the bad finishes in the past, where it seemed like he kind of like just wilted, but like you can't hold that against the guy forever. Like when he keeps proving it like again and again that it's not a problem anymore. Like you got the Chandler fight, he had a rough ending of the first round and then literally knocked him out within seconds in the second round. You got the Poirier fight, he got dropped a bunch of times, rocked, and then he hopped on his back and got a rear naked choke. Now, like the way I see this fight is like Gaethje, I don't think that he's corrected like a lot of like the grappling issues, and like I'm sure he's gotten better since the Habib fight, but I think that Charles is like just as dangerous as like a submission threat, if not more, just because of like the way his style is. And I don't know, like it's rough. I think that if Oliveira can get him down, it's going to be a short night. But if it stays on the feet, that's where it gets interesting. Like Oliveira is going to have to keep him at range, use his teeps, use his leg kicks, and hopefully not get hit with too many adjustments. But I don't know. I just think that Oliveira has all the tools, and he's the champ for a reason. Like I truly believe that this guy is the best in the world right now, and I don't think that Gaethje is the matchup that's going to break him. I really don't.
Yeah, I think just an underrated aspect. I mean, just if we're gonna, and we're not gonna call it Charles Oliveira underrated, like in general. Then an underrated aspect to Charles Oliveira, I think, is just his ability, his ability to shoot and secure takedowns. Which I think I definitely think that like he should look to, at least early on. Like because there's a very good chance this fight is just a war, just straight from off rip, like.
He's lucky though because he's so good off his back. Like if he gets dropped by Gaethje, like he's good at rolling into his guard or rolling for a leg, like to survive, and then that's how he gets on people's backs and stuff. Like it's unbelievable the way that he fights. So like I
also just don't see Gaethje really like doing much in the way of like being able to stuff and defend anything.
I feel like he'll be able to stuff the takedowns, maybe not all of them, but definitely like a good amount because he's a good wrestler. Like, but I can't like hold that part of the Habib fight against him
because he hasn't like that wrestling like hasn't really like made its way like because just of how good of a striker he is, but just hasn't really necessarily made its way as much into his UFC career.
Yeah, no, mostly defensively. But he's fought a lot of strikers because, I mean, Michael Johnson, Eddie Alvarez tried a couple times, I think, to get him down. But
many hangs.
Even from there, like, you got James Vick, Edson Barboza, like, those are all strikers. But I don't know, like, I kind of have a hard time holding that part of the Habib fight against him just because, like, there's not a lot of guys in that division who are stopping takedowns from Habib.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I don't think Charles is as good of a wrestler as Habib, but I think he's a very underrated one. So, like you kind of said, like the ability just to shoot and get takedowns, like with his like the timing of it, it's definitely possible. Honestly, though, the way I see him getting it to the ground is like more unorthodox stuff, kind of like what he was doing with Poirier, like hopping on his back, like rolling under, doing like things like with judo, like who knows. But I love Charles Oliveira, and like I don't think it's clouding my judgment. Like I said, I think Gaethje has the potential to stop him with a knockout, but I think Oliveira is just too good right now. That's just what it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've got Charles as the rightful favorite as -180 on DraftKings. Checking out on FanDuel, he's relatively the same as a -168. In terms of DFS price tags, he's 8,500 on DraftKings. I actually think that's pretty solid, but I actually can just gauge. I think at least a decent amount of Gaethje shares is definitely worth having. I just think because in terms of his price tag, he's at 7,700. I just think that
it's good potential.
Yeah, the knockout upside, and even even if he does suffer a loss, in terms of strikes landed, significant strikes, and all of that, I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot for Gaethje to do to get done and be able to pay off. 7,700, even in a loss, but Oliveira. I think
and
that
you always say the 5-round aspect of it.
Yeah, of course. So you're definitely gonna want it just comes down, I guess, more to you're gonna have whether who do you have more of in the certain fight? You're gonna have more of Charles Oliveira or Justin Gaethje, but you definitely want you definitely need something of it for sure, and
they're both priced
so
well.
Even if it's just you're going completely all in on Charles Oliveira and you're giving Justin Gaethje essentially no chance. That's to each their own too. But in terms of just Gaethje, I think in terms of underdogs and whatnot on the card, especially because how many not even, but yeah, honestly, pick'ems. There are a lot of pick'ems, and just like I said, not very large favorites either. Justin Gaethje looks like honestly one of the top underdogs on this card, so I have no qualms with that whatsoever at 7,700 on DK. But
there's definitely some potential.
Yeah, And then as far as these props go, we have Charles Oliveira as a plus 135 to win by submission. That's on FanDuel. And as a plus 120 on DraftKings. So, I mean, there's that. And then I don't really see a whole lot else from the finishing props, to be honest. Gaethje plus 210 to win by knockout on DraftKings. Just fine, but I don't... Yeah, man. I guess we're going to save it to the end, obviously, like we usually do for our picks, but in terms of how this fight's going to finish, I really have no idea. I just think there's so many possibilities.
Gotcha. And are we only saving the main event till the end, or are we doing
we can
championship fights, the Ferguson Chandler? We got
we can
stacked card.
Exactly, dude. We can run through the freaking whole main card, honestly. So,
yeah, I mean, even the women's fight, the championship one, like that was another one that I was flip-flopping back and forth.
Yeah, man. I mean,
am I wrong about this? Like, I'm pretty sure I saw on DraftKings that like Rose was like a decent amount of like money for like the salary in terms of DFS.
So yeah, we'll just get right into it. I'll find Rose real quick, and she's checking in at a $8,900 price tag on DraftKings, and then she's also the most expensive fighter on FanDuel. So, and it's relative to her money line odds. She's a minus 200 on FanDuel as well to beat Carla Esparza. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you real quick because you said you were going back and forth about this one.
Yeah, it's just such a tough fight. Like, I look at Rose, and I say that she's definitely like a lot better than she was the first time she fought Carla. Like her footwork in particular is like really good now, like in terms of being able to circle and like get out of the way of certain things. But I don't like Carla is too though. Her wrestling has definitely gotten better, and her chain wrestling is like unbelievably good. But her striking is still like, it's definitely nowhere near Rose's level. And I say to myself, if Carla wants to win this fight, she has to set the pace early. Like she has to take her down early, break her spirit, hold her there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like really just drown her. Because I think if she doesn't do that, then Rose is just going to get more and more confident as the fight goes on and just pick her apart. But the thing is, like, I think Rose's takedown defense is, like, definitely a lot better than it was the first time. It's still not, like, crazy good. And, like, she still does have problems against people who wrestle, but, like, not anywhere near as much. And either way, like, I still think she's improved, like, so much, even since the first Zhang Weili fight. So I just think that she's such a complete fighter now. She seems to have all the confidence in the world. You know, who knows what her mentality is going to look like when she's in there against Carla, because, you know, that's, again, like someone who beat you and I think, finished her. So but I still stand, like, in the belief that she's going to be able to be confident in there like she was against Zhang Weili, and I think that Rose is just going to be able to outstrike her for a lot of that fight. I don't know if she'll be able... She might be able to finish her, actually, but I don't... It's going to be a tough one. I feel like it's going to look a lot like when Carla fought Joanna. Like, just kind of just getting pieced up on the feet, and there's not much you can do. Like, you're trying to shoot takedowns, and they're not working. I think that Carla could get maybe, like, a round on her. Maybe.
Yeah, I just don't think Rose can beat herself. Just make, like, a mental mistake, and which Carla Esparza is going to capitalize on, and which is likely going to be on the ground.
That's why she needs to do it early, though, too, because if she can get that in Rose's head early, that's when you can kind of, like, expect that she might get rattled by that, honestly, but I don't know. She's, like, one of those people you never really know until, like, you see her in the octagon and how her demeanor is, like, because you know that she deals with all those things, but she always talks about how she's pretty much past it. She's just thinking about legacy now because everybody keeps asking her about it. But this one would definitely do a lot for her legacy and just for her too if she were able to win. And I think that with the footwork, like I said, and just piecing her up with her boxing, and probably she's gonna have to be careful with leg kicks. I will say that because Carla's definitely gonna be looking for those leg kicks. So I don't know how much she wants to go down there, and if she does, she's got to get in and out quick, or else Carla's gonna grab her leg and take her down. But if that doesn't happen, like I said, I think it's going to be a good night for Rose on the feet.
All right. Well, yeah. In terms of I think the sites are pretty pretty accurate with everything for the most part. In terms of Rose's price tags on both sides, I think that's pretty accurate. 23 on FanDuel, 8,900 on DraftKings. No problems there. And then in terms of the
what's Carla's, just for out of curiosity?
Carla is 7,300.
Wow, there are some good underdogs though, because like Carla could very well just take her down, and win the belt that way. Like, who knows? Like, I don't see it happening really, but I think the potential of it is a lot higher than Gaethje knocking out
Carla's
Charles.
Decision odds are really like the sites that they're giving her her due as well. She's a plus. I'll give her the DraftKings odds. She's a plus 260 to win by a decision.
Yeah, that's not bad. I like her pricing though, especially like I don't know about FanDuel, but DraftKings being 7,300 with the potential of all those takedowns, all that control time, like. It's like you said with Gaethje, like there's a lot of upside there, even if like we don't think that she's gonna win. I don't know if you do, because I don't think you even really said yet.
I don't. I do think.
Yeah, so you're kind of in like agreement with me then.
Yeah, I do think this is just really just Rose's fight to lose. Honestly, like I really do think if Rose is gonna lose this fight, it's gonna be because she beat herself. Some mistake that Carlos Esparza capitalizes on and
early
has to be early. But so like we've already just gone through the first two fights, and like that we just had talked about. There's 15 and there's no crazy favorites. Like, like even just DFS aside, with how many like viable underdogs there are, it just creates for just a great like fight pay-per-view as well. Just like it's just like there's so many like possibilities, and like
there's just so many people too who've been around for such a long time, and like that like are almost like reasons why I'm like a fan of this sport. And so like for me, like I feel like this is just like one of those cards that's just like for those OGs, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna get into it later, like Donald Cerrone, Joe Lozon, even like guys like Blackway, even though we're getting up there in age and haven't been in the UFC too long, but they're still really good. You got it's even Tony Ferguson, like we're gonna get into very soon. It's just like all these people who are like UFC mainstays. I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah, and then you brought up Tony, yet another UFC OG, someone who's just, like, I don't know how you can't like Tony Ferguson, but that's neither here nor there. Taking on, Michael Chandler, actually, I was about to say the surging Michael Chandler, but I can't say that. There's someone coming off a loss.
Couple losses.
But, not really in terms of age, but obviously Michael Chandler has only had 2 UFC fights, so I'll say up and coming, because this fight as well, I think it's Tony Ferguson past his prime and whatnot, not getting any younger, and just seemingly every fight is not also getting any easier either.
No.
So
he's fought all killers, and this is no different.
Yep. And this is a huge fight for Michael Chandler here. Especially, I think
he's been wanting it since he got into the UFC, so this is his chance to capitalize.
You had some quite interesting thoughts to say before, because this is one of the fights you were really having a back and forth with.
Like I basically didn't make like my final decision on it until like this morning, and even then, like who knows how many times it's gonna flip flop. But I'm pretty confident in saying like I think I'm gonna think. Now, like I agree with what you're saying about Tony Ferguson being like past his prime a bit, and like you gotta like just admit reality. Like he's 38, I think, and he's coming off a few like tough losses that you didn't really see him kind of taking earlier in his career. But like the thing is with Chandler, like at first when I looked at this fight on the surface, I was like, Chandler's a bad matchup for Tony because he hits hard, he's got really good wrestling, he can hold him down. But then I said to myself, I'm like, well, that's Chandler at his best, though. Like, when Chandler uses fight IQ, which he honestly doesn't really do too much, like, he should easily be able to win this fight just by keeping Tony at the end of his punches and taking him down and holding him there and maybe landing some ground and pound while he's at it. But the thing is, I think that it's going to be a lot like the Gaethje fight in the sense that the fans are going to be electric because they all love Tony, and they know that this is going to be a really good fight. Mm-hmm. And I think that he could have a good first round, and I think that he might crack Tony early, and maybe I don't know if he'll drop him, because Tony's like inhuman, but I think he'll definitely be able to hurt him. But I think that's gonna lead to his like detriment pretty much, because I think he's gonna be able to hurt him, but he's not gonna get Tony out of there. And I think that Tony is good enough on the ground that he can survive and like possibly throw up submissions or just scramble back to his feet or get a leg and get back to his feet. It's just like, and then you listen to Tony coming in too. He says that he's really been focused on his wrestling, like back to his roots. And he's got all the skills that he always has had. And he admits too in the last fight how he came out flat. And I'm like, well, if he's aware of that, then like it's not just like, I don't think it's a mistake that he's going to make again, considering what happened in his last couple fights. And like, I think what's going to happen, honestly, is that Chandler's going to have some success against him early because Tony keeps his head in the center line, and he's going to get cracked with some of those shots. And I don't know. I mean, that's where I'm flip-flopping, because I'm like, Chandler could very easily just hurt him bad with one of those shots and land like enough shots and TKO him just because of the ref having to stop it. But I just don't see it. Like, I think that he's going to knock him down and gas himself out a little bit and then that's what's going to lead to him not doing what he needs to do in terms of taking him down, holding him there. That's when I think he's going to start to fall into the war, and I think that's what Tony wants. And Tony in that situation is very good. Like, he lands... That's the other thing I thought of. Like, the things that Tony's good at landing are things that Chandler is very vulnerable towards. Like, I think Chandler, because of his wide stance, he's going to get hit with a lot of leg kicks by Tony. I think that Tony's going to have a lot of teeps and like front kicks up the middle, and he's going to try and change the levels of them and catch Chandler slipping. And then you got this is where Tony Ferguson's unorthodoxness like really just like comes in and helps him. The upward elbows that he throws, and even the like elbows that he throws like into people like when they're blitzing in on him, and Chandler does that a lot. And Chandler gets hit with a lot of uppercuts too, and Tony has great uppercuts. And I think that Chandler's going to have success early, and then he's going to fall into a war with Tony Ferguson. And I don't think he's going to come out of that with a win. I don't think either guy is going to get finished, but I think it's going to be like a 29-28 either way, and I'm leaning towards Tony.
All right, well, I mean, there you have it, and I don't even need to really ask whether or not you agree with this price tag. Because, I mean, not even I agree with it, honestly, but... And then, obviously, you just gave your stance and whatnot, but... I think Michael Chandler at $9,600 on DraftKings, relatively easy fade. For me, at least. For you, too.
Even if you think he's going to win, that's a lot.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he's like... I really just don't think he's going to knock him out. I just don't see it.
No,
like,
that's exactly what you're...
if you're paying that for Chandler, you need the first round finish.
You're looking for the finish, like, easily.
Exactly. And, like, Tony... Like, I mean, all this is saying that I'm acknowledging that he's past his prime. I still just think he has the skills to win this fight. Like, Chandler, he ducks his head down a lot in the middle, and Tony has so many good strikes up the middle, and they're all, like, so unpredictable. And he's good in the clinch, too. Those elbows, man, even on the ground, like, if Chandler gets him down and he can't control him right away, Tony's really good at landing those elbows from the bottom and those hammer fists from the bottom. Like, he does real damage with it. He cuts people up. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just think that Chandler is coming into this fight too confident, and I think that once he hurts Tony, he's going to really think that he's going to do well, and then that's going to mess him up. And it all depends on how quickly Tony can turn the tide. That's like what it is. But and then the thing is, like, I figured that Tony could also slip a quick submission too, but the thing is, Chandler's never been submitted before, and obviously in the Oliveira fight it came pretty close and he did really well. But with Tony, I think the potential of him getting submitted would be like if he's really tired late in the fight and Tony gets him with a couple good shots and he shoots like a desperation takedown and Tony just locks him up in a Doris or a guillotine. So, I don't know. I just see more ways for Tony to win, and Chandler has to hurt him, and I don't know if he can do that I think I almost think the more success Chandler has, the worse it's going to be for him in the rest of the fight if he doesn't finish it right off the bat. So, I don't know. I'm leaning Ferguson. What's Ferguson's price on?
Yeah, it's a super. No one is giving Tony. No side is giving Tony a chance like anywhere.
I get it.
So he's at 6,600 on DraftKings. FanDuel checking in at $8.
Wow.
And as far as these odds go, because Michael Chandler's knockout prop isn't even plus money. It's literally minus 110. So you're not even getting plus money on that bet. On FanDuel, it's plus money.
Fades, man. If he doesn't get him early, Tony's going to be there in his face. And I don't know if he's going to... I just don't see him taking him down and holding him there for like as long as he's going to need to. I think he's going to get confident after he cracks him early because Tony's going to be there to be hit. But Tony doesn't get tired and he doesn't really even get hurt that much anymore. Like, it's just like, I don't know. This is such an interesting fight to me. And the other thing is too that people aren't saying, like, you know, people are talking about Tony being old. Chandler's not that much younger than him. He's like, I think Tony's 38 and Chandler's like 36 or 37. And he's had some wars too, and he's coming off 2 losses. Like, they're in a very similar spot, whether fans want to admit that or not. Because I get that Chandler's a fresh face in the UFC, and he hasn't had the type of losses.
Like,
but
even you think too, like, this is a good fight for Michael Chandler, but
it is.
It's just
I don't think he's going to capitalize on it.
The way that he's going about it, and that he may go about it.
He's saying all the right things, but he always says the right things, and then, you know, when he gets in there and you hear all those fans and they're going to be so loud, like Tony Ferguson, you know, he's Mexican descent, they're in Arizona, and he's like a fan favorite as it is. So, like, you got to imagine that the pop in that arena is going to be so loud, and that's what Chandler talks about when he talks about the Gaethje fight. And I think if he gets Tony hurt early, he's going to really just blow his wad kind of trying to knock him out. And I think that Tony's going to be able to survive it. And I think that he's going to do what Tony Ferguson, we've seen Tony Ferguson, what he's done. I think this will be a Tony Ferguson type fight where he's getting battered a little bit early and then he comes back. But
I won't even call it a value either. But, like, you know, what I was saying in the beginning about, like, you know, pay-per-views, especially one as loaded as this one, like, you know, but people tend to splurge a little bit more and just, like, you know, there's a lot more like bets and whatnot that, like, you know, kind of just throwing a shot in the dark but hoping it hits. Even Tony Ferguson at a plus 650 to win by decision on DraftKings. Like, I wouldn't mind throwing a few bucks on
I'd throw
that.
some money on
and
that
as
one.
far as the money line odds go, he's a plus 280 to beat Michael Chandler. And, like, I
get why they think that, but you gotta factor in who he's fighting and their style of fighting. Like, Gaethje is fighting for the title. Oliveira is the champion. Dariush is 1 win away from fighting the champion. Like, these are all, like, the top guys in the division. And we were talking about Oliveira before, how I said that I don't think Gaethje's the guy to beat him. You know who I really do think are the 2 people who could beat him? Beneil Dariush and Islam Makhachev, and Tony fought Beneil. So, like, he's fighting all these guys that at least I consider to be at a championship level. So, like, you can't look at it, like, so subjectively, like, because Chandler's proven in the past that he makes these mistakes over and over, and like I said, he keeps his head right in the center line where Tony's going to be throwing his shots. He's going to land the jab, knees, kicks, upward elbows, normal elbows. Like, I just, unless Chandler fights the way he should fight this fight, I don't know. I think Tony Ferguson,
I think at least for the most part he will, or at least he'll, like, try to stick to it, unless Tony really backs him into a corner and, like, to where, you know, Michael Chandler's essentially fighting desperate. But for, like, in terms of, and then after hearing your breakdown, which is really well put together and just makes a lot of sense as well, like, I was already thinking, like, looking at this Michael Chandler price tag, like, 9,600, like, you know, are we sure this isn't, like, a name value thing, or, you know, just because and also then now looking at the knockout props as well, it's like, wow, like, we're really not giving Tony Ferguson a chance here. But
I just think that people are overlooking him because of the last few fights, and I think this fight will really be the one that tells us if he's actually that far past it. But I don't think he's that far yet. I think he's definitely not as good as he once was, but I still think he's a top fighter in that division, and I think that he can prove a lot of people wrong in this fight. And mentality matters, and I think that he's coming into this with the right mentality. He's not talking about past Chandler. He's talking about fighting Mike Chandler, beating him, and getting through him, because he knows that's what matters. He knows that he's coming off 3 straight losses. He's very aware of that. And also, I do want to just say this, and we could probably talk about this more on like her handbook, because it kind of ties more into that podcast. But like the things that Tony was saying too about the UFC, like that he's so right, and I'm so glad that he was saying that stuff, like just about how they use a lot of people and like for their name value, and then they just kick you to the curb. And even Anderson Silva was saying that recently too. And then also I love that at the press conference, one of the things that he was trying to rally for, not even fighter pay, fighter insurance, like for like I guess for life, like other sports kind of have. Like I think that that's like a really good idea, and I think that that's something that should. I mean, like I said, I don't know not like enough about the business side of it, of like what would go into that, but like if that's like in any way possible, like I really think that they should do that, and I feel like it definitely has to be with the money that they're pulling in right now.
Seriously, I think that's what these fighters really want. They want that. They want to be insured. They want to make sure like they're set up for.
Yeah, well, even Ferguson, he's like, I got kids, like, you know what I mean? Like,
seriously,
you know, I'm living life right now. Like, I'm an adult. Like, I can't just be worried about like just fighting. And he like the way he talked about it too, like how he said he had to ignore phone calls, and it's like they're like drug dealers calling you up, like, hey, need you to do this, need you to do this, like. He says, like, and he was so right when he said they don't realize that we're human beings. Like, if I'm good right now and I don't want to fight, why do I have to fight? And why is it held against me if I don't want to fight? Like, if I'm good right now, I got my money and I'm just chilling and I'm having, like, a good time. Like, why do I need to fight for you? Like, if I'm a so-called independent contractor, like they always, like Dana loves to say that they are, like, it's just, you hate seeing it. And, like, Tony Ferguson, you know, I think back on his win streak and how he got screwed out of all those opportunities to get the title. And I think he's starting to get past it, although I can tell that he's still very bitter about it. And he should be, because he was wronged. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, he did a lot for that company, and to see, like, that's the way that they treat people like that, it's just, it sucks. Like, you hate hearing it. That's just what it is. But I like hearing it in the sense that, like, at least people are starting to say what they think, and they're not trying to hold it back anymore. Yeah, that is good. So, I don't know. That's why, in another way, and I really hope he wins this fight, because who knows what the UFC is going to do after he's just said all that. Like, yeah,
and then the post-fight interview, too, whatever he might say in that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's tough, because Tony's definitely on the back nine of it. So I hope he can pull it off. And, like, I'm a huge fan of his, because he's, like I said, another person who's one of the main people who was, like, a reason why I'm into this sport. Like, every time Tony Ferguson's name is on that fight card, you know you're going to have, like, some fun watching that one. And he's just a legend, man. Like, I'm a big fan of him. So it sucks to hear him talk like that, and, like, it sucks that he's being treated like that. So I think because of that, he's coming in fired up. And he's coming in with a very realistic, like, perspective on it. And like I said, I don't know if I said this on camera too, but, like, he was talking about how Chandler always refers to himself in the third person, which is so true. And, like, he has to get through his ego. And that's so true, because I think if he can make him flare up that ego, I think that this could be a good night for Tony. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We sure will. That might honestly now be, like, my most anticipated fight of the night.
It is for me.
You've sold me for sure.
I'm very excited. I'm definitely sold on everything I've seen so far. Like, I think this is a good one.
I mean, without further ado, I mean, let's just keep it rolling.
I think you've said everything you could say about that one.
With the OGs on this card.
Another good one.
Between Shogun, Mauricio Rua, and OSP Ovin St. Pro. And, I mean, this one I also wanted to, like, you know, get, because I think it's actually the fight before this between Cowboy and Joe Lozone. I have a few things to talk about, but this one in particular, in terms of the numbers, I'll just bring up the numbers first. because we have OSP as the favorite, which I think is accurate. At a plus 240, minus 240 on DraftKings, I also think he's. I don't know. My stance is I feel like this fight could be a little more of a even more. I'm not even trying to sound biased here because I'm a big Shogun fan, and like he's clearly not that guy he once was. But
see, my thing is I don't think OSP is either. I don't think OSP wants to be in there when he's in there, and I can't pick a guy who's not going to want to be in there.
See that you should touch on more.
Well, I'll say right now I picked Shogun, and the main reason for that is because I think Shogun is like he's gonna come in trying to take OSP's head off, and OSP.
And that's why for me I feel like that's what can get Shogun in trouble.
You think? I mean, that's what got him in trouble in the first fight when they fought I don't know how long ago that was, but even in that fight though, like OSP, it's like when he's in there, it's almost like he like doesn't want to be, and like it messes him up. Like he's constantly on the back foot. He barely throws. His corner will be screaming at him, and he's not reacting because it's like he's like frozen in there. And I think that like the way he knocked out Shogun the first time was like Shogun kind of blitzed in, and he kind of just hit him like on his way out. But like even when he did that, he was like backing away like fully. Like it's like he doesn't want to be in that fire. And I think when he gets in it, he struggles sometimes. And like I think the only thing with Shogun is just that like he's had so many wars and stuff, and I know that he's definitely not the same guy that he was. But I think the thing is like he wants to be there, and he definitely wants to right that wrong of that first fight. So I just think that OSP his confidence is like a big issue for him, and I think it's going to affect him a lot in this fight. And I think he's going to be backing up, and Shogun's just going to be hitting him.
Yeah, that's exactly how I could see it too. Just Shogun just landing as many shots as possible and just simply just winning that way. Like I could easily see this fight just being on the feet the entire time, with Shogun just landing a lot more.
I don't know. I just have a hard time picking someone who I don't feel like is going to be fully like mentally in there. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's literally only, minus the ref, of course, but it's two guys in there that it's pretty evident to see, like, whether or not if someone is like really into it or not.
And like you watch some of his fights, like I said, he has no output, and he gets in the corner, and his team is screaming at him like, "What are you doing? Like you gotta start throwing," because he has all the tools. He's got good. He's so athletic. He's got good takedowns. He's got good he's a strong guy. He's got powerful punches. Like he even has good kicks. Like he's so good all around. But like it's just the mentality thing. Like it seems like he's just never that confident when he's in there. And who knows? Maybe he'll be a little more confident just because he like won the first fight with Shogun. But I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, like coming off a Tanner Boser loss too.
That was a heavyweight too, wasn't it? So he's coming up and down like.
And which he in Berlin, if I'm not mistaken, he got knocked out in.
Did he? I remember he fought him, but I honestly can't remember what happened.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Did it say?
Yeah, it says right there. Yeah. 2-round knockout from Tanner Boser. Not to say that Shogun like is gonna knock him out, but that's just kind of goes more to like if OSP's just gonna allow himself to get hit and not do much in the way of it or just to prevent it. Like more Shogun on FanDuel to win by decision plus 500 on DraftKings. The same thing. So it's like another bet. Like I don't mind I wouldn't mind throwing a few bucks out and whatnot because
this is a fun one, man. I love
this. Like this at least in this fight, like the numbers like really like OSP is a pretty like bona fide favorite here. 9,200 on DraftKings. So I don't know how the industry is gonna handle that in terms of like the field and what OSP's like ownership percentage is gonna reflect, but they might not. Yeah, they might be on the. I want to say they might be on the how we're feeling about this, but like I'm looking at the sports books and they think OSP is gonna get it done. So Yeah, I mean, Shogun's not a terrible underdog either at plus 195, but
I think it's a good matchup right now for where they're both at.
Yeah, well, we will certainly see. That's going to take us to the last card, and obviously the first card of the main card between...
first fight?
Did I say first
fight?
Like wait first fight of the main card.
I got you.
Cowboy, Joe Lauzon. Cowboy Cerrone, Joe Lauzon. And what I think this is actually a pretty solid opener, I think.
I think it's another, like the last one, just a perfect matchup, too. Like, I think both these guys are, like...
Which is really nice to see for at least Cowboy, because just the fact that he's even still here and just doing it, and just another fight is on tap just to keep adding.
Yeah, I'm glad they kind of gave him someone who's also
seriously, man, because I'm not trying to.
You're not gonna like what I'm about to say though. Coming off that.
Okay, yeah.
Despite that matchup, I don't have a good feeling about it.
Which is unfortunate. Like I don't have the best feeling here. I actually like Joe Lauzon here, who's actually the underdog. I think this is
Joe Lauzon is really like a great. He's very like unorthodox, and it's like he's a fast starter too, and Cerrone is very much not, never has been, very much not nowadays.
Oh yeah, man.
And it's like I think if Joe Lauzon pushes the pace right off the bat, which I think he will, I think he'll be able to crack Cerrone with like because he throws like a lot of he throws some nice hooks, and they're like sneaky, like they're sneaky powerful. And I think that he can rock Cerrone with one of them. And I think the moment that happens, I think it's going to be hard for Cerrone to recover. And I think that he might, I just think he's going to make like some sort of error, and Lauzon's going to get it to the ground and get him in his, I don't know if he'll be, I don't know though. I think it's going to be like a quick type of submission, sadly, because it's like Cerrone, I feel like might shoot for a takedown if he's getting hurt, and it might be sloppy, and then Lauzon's just going to lock up his neck, and that's all he wrote. Like, I don't want to see that, and the thing is, like, Cerrone's a lot better of a striker, but same thing with OSP, like, I just don't know if that ferociousness and that, like, confidence is there right now, even though
this is honestly, like, pretty similar to the, I mean, in, like, the sense that we're talking, not, like, Cowboys, like, literally just, like, in Michael Chandler's situation, but, in terms of, like, if they can just put it together and like they can get the job done early, then because that's what the books think here as well with a Cowboy plus 165 to win by knockout on DraftKings, and slightly worse on FanDuel plus 240. But from what I'm seeing here right now, that's what the likeliest finish is that the sites have for this fight. And I mean, like, of course I can see. It's just, once again, like, I would think he needs to get it done early, and you literally just mentioned, like, Cowboys, especially nowadays, like, it's just not that guy who's gonna just, right from the get-go is just gonna lay it on somebody.
Lauzon's gonna be on him early, and I think Lauzon, he's a very smart person. Like, highly intelligent. I think he's, like, a computer whiz, too, like, outside of the UFC. But, like, he's just such an intelligent dude. I think he knows where Donald's
just
at.
Another guy that's been around for some time, so...
I don't know. I just think it's a tough one for Cerrone.
Yeah, I don't think it's just going to be an experience thing. It's just going to be where these two are at in their careers right now. Yeah. And...
Well, Lauzon, he retired, like, a couple years ago.
Really?
But... That's another thing, though, I think that's going to help him. The fact that he hasn't taken much damage in the past. I think last time he fought, I want to say, was when Dom Reyes beat Chris Weidman, which was like 2020, I think. Maybe 2019. Not 100% sure. It could be 2019. But I don't know. I think he's still been training, and I think that he's got such a high fight IQ. I think he'll be all right. And he's very unorthodox, and I think that's going to throw Donald Cerrone for a loop a little bit, because he's going to be getting looks that, like, you're not going to normally see.
Joe Lauzon is checking it at a $7,400 price tag on DraftKings. I mean, do you think from a fantasy aspect, you see some value in that? Like,
how much did you say it was?
$7,400.
Yeah, I do. I do. Pretty much every underdog on this card, I've pretty much seen some value in, depending. Man. I've picked like 4 of them.
Because like
so
I feel like some of these favorites just feel like like overpriced, but also like I'm looking at because like obviously like the price tags are reflective of what the sportsbook odds are.
Yeah.
And just I guess in that sense, like I don't know, like I find myself kind of like kind of like you. There's a lot of these underdog numbers at plus money and whatnot. Like they look like some pretty solid bets.
Yeah.
And that's just for the main card.
This
prelim.
What are some prelims you want to get into? There's a lot of them. I don't know if we're gonna get into all of them, but
I think this one is definitely worth talking about because it contains the largest favorite on the card, and he's just rightfully so. I think he's just a great play. Anyways, I'm talking about Andre Fiallo taking on Cameron Van Camp. Fiallo checks in as a minus 410 favorite to beat Cameron Van Camp. That's on DraftKings. On FanDuel, it looks like
he's coming off a win like not too long ago either. Like a couple weeks, I think. Like 3-4
Oh,
weeks.
yeah. It really hasn't been that long since we've literally talked about Fiallo himself.
Yeah. Picked against him in that fight, but I'm not doing that for this one. And this is a different matchup, too. It's just like this guy going against him isn't like the level of striker I think that Andre is.
I really he's rightfully, like I just said, rightfully the largest favorite on the card. His FanDuel money line is pretty much the same as DraftKings. In terms of price tags though, because you're paying obviously you're gonna pay the piper for it, but I'd rather pay the $9,500 than for Chandler or what was he just talked about before? That was also in the 9Ks.
I don't think we had.
No, it was
Rose was 89.
Yeah, it was OSP was close that I didn't really like, but Fiallo, like I said, at 9,500 on a DK, and then he's the second most expensive fighter right after Rose at 22 on FanDuel. Yeah,
my thing is like if you think he's gonna finish him early, it might be worth it. But I don't know. I feel like there's so many good priced people. Like you might not even really need to like pay that much for somebody like him.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth forcing. Like especially first of all, I would think the finish has to come early. He's kind of like Michael Chandler was. He's not even at plus money to win by knockout on DraftKings, and FanDuel actually doesn't have the their winning method props and stuff up for this fight, so we'll just go with DK. But and then even his decision prop like plus 300, fine. Like if you're thinking a decision victory, then you don't want to pay 9,500 for it.
Yeah.
But he's literally favorite to win. Not only is he, the biggest favorite on the card, he's favored to win by a knockout. And you're just hoping he gets the job done early if that's going to be the case at this price tag. So.
All right.
Yeah, not much more to really highlight there.
Yeah, no.
If you want to touch on Chaos Williams and Randy Brown.
You literally just read my mind. I was about to say, we should talk about this fight.
We should definitely talk about this fight, man.
Oh, man, I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a fun one on the prelims there. Definitely anybody who doesn't know either of these guys, watch that fight. That fight's probably
Here's our first, and this is literally our first, the first, that we're talking about right now, the first, actual pick'em of the card.
Of course it is.
Yep, Randy Brown, minus 105, Chaos, minus 115.
Wow.
Yeah, this is I haven't even looked at the price tags. I'll just take a look at that real quick, and then if you want to just get right into it, we will. But on DK... Yeah, just a $400 price difference on DraftKings. 83 for Chaos.
Okay.
And then 79 for Randy Brown. So
I'll just start by I agree with that. Okay. Because I think that Randy Brown, he might be a better all around fighter than Chaos Williams, but Chaos Williams has such a mean streak. He's got so much confidence. And I think that Randy Brown has been stopped before by powerful striker. So I think that Chaos can land that shot, and I think that he will. That's just mainly what it is.
Yeah, FanDuel's with you on that because this isn't a pick'em. Randy Brown's actually the underdog here.
Yeah, I could see Randy winning by staying on the outside and picking him apart from there, but I just think that Chaos has that power and has enough explosiveness. Even though he's a little bit predictable, but I think that confidence is a whole nother deal there. I think it matters a lot. And he has so much power, and it doesn't really go away. So I think it's I got Chaos in this one.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Chaos's price tags on both sides here. 83 on DraftKings, $16 on FanDuel.
See, and that's what I'm saying though. Like even with the last fight, like if you think Andre's gonna win first round knockout and you think he's gonna win a first round knockout, why would you not pick Chaos?
Yeah, it honestly just seems like a bit underpriced. I mean, I get it, it's a pick'em, and especially DraftKings is the one who actually has the pick'em here, but which is reflected in the price tags and stuff as well. But I feel like, honestly, both of these guys could be a little more expensive, and they're not. So, I mean, especially Chaos, I just think
interesting fight.
On DraftKings, literally, he was in that. Or no, that was...
All I know is we're going to get some hands thrown in this fight. Like, it's going to be a really good one in that sense. Like, who knows how long it's going to last, though, because Chaos has got that, like, one shot knockout power, like, legit. So...
Yeah. Yeah, it's worth getting to at just 8,300 on FanDuel. But yeah, don't sleep on Randy Brand either, because this could go this one. I hope it goes all 3 rounds.
Yeah, so do I. I hope it's a war, but
it'll be a lot of fun.
Who knows?
But,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Any other price tags you thought were pretty interesting on the prelims?
We've got. This fight, like, just in general, like, if it needs to be talked about. But Brandon Royval and Matt Schnell.
Yeah. If it's not Ferguson, Chandler, or Brown Williams, I think this one could be a fight of the night contender. Man.
I'm just a big Brandon Royval fan, but even Matt Schnell, like, I just think this is a great matchup. Like, just like you honestly just said it best yourself. Like, at least for the prelims, like, this has very well a great chance of being like the fight of the night here. Brandon Royval checks in as a -240 on DraftKings to beat Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell is a +195 underdog. As far as price tags go, taking Royval, he's checking in at 9,300, which I think is fair.
Dude, that means that Matt Schnell has got to be mad underpriced then.
I'll tell you, and you can let me know, but yeah, literally sub 7K.
What? Like, that's crazy. I have Royval winning, but still.
Yeah, it's
Damn, man. These numbers are nuts.
Do you think so? Yeah, I mean, I guess I already got the answer to my question, but Brandon Royval is just, the sites are, I guess overrating him a little bit.
I don't even know if it's that. I just think they're underrating Schnell. That's what it is. I think it's going to be closer than they think. Like, I don't think Royval is just going to run away with it.
Because, like, you just said, too, like, you think Royval is going to win, but...
I think that, like, they're both really great scramblers, so I think a lot of this is going to be on the feet, because they both are a submission threat off their back, which I think prevents either of them from having a lot of control time.
All right.
So I think when you look at it on the feet, I think that Matt Schnell is, like, going to come at him with, like, a more, like, boxing type, clean cut coming forward. But I think that Royval has a lot of creativity in his striking, and I think the unpredictability of it, like, is going to really throw Matt Schnell for a loop, and I think that he's going to be able to land some shots on Schnell, probably more than Schnell's going to land on him. And Schnell also, like, I think he takes a lot of, like, leg kicks, if I'm not mistaken. Like, let me see. I think I wrote it even down. Yeah, kind of. I think, well, it's tough because, like, Schnell's got power, too. That's what I'm saying. He's very underrated. Like, he could also walk him down and push the pace himself and get a decision win, or even a knockout. Because Royval, like, he does get dropped. Like, I think it's because he spins and stuff a lot. And, like, when you spin, sometimes you leave your chin out in, like, a bad position. And I think that Schnell could, if anything, like, connect with, like, a hook. But that's why I say it shouldn't be that far apart, because I think Schnell has, like, a decent chance at winning. But I think that skill set wise, I think Royval has just more to offer.
Yeah, this is definitely one I'm going to be keeping an eye on to see how this line moves, because it could very well even just sway even more to Brandon Royval, in which case you'll get even more value on Matt Schnell. At least his money line odds, because in terms of method of victories and stuff, like even Matt Schnell to win by decision is a +400. So yeah, in turn, like, his submission and knockout props are, like, very high. So that's like a serious dart throw there. So do what you will with that. But yeah, like this is one of those lines like I'm gonna be keeping my eye on right now. Plus 195, Matt Schnell is, and plus 210, even better value on FanDuel. So,
if you're a new like UFC fan, watch this card, like all as much of it as you can, because this there's just so many.
Even if you're like not, because we said it like a million times on this episode alone, how many OGs there are. Like even if you're not a new UFC.
Well, I think they're definitely watching this one. Like, I don't have to sell it to them. They see the promos.
No, but like, what I was getting at, like even the people that that might have like I don't know like fallen out and like
want to get back in.
Yeah, they see all these names and whatnot and they're like, whoa, hold on, like this is actually something.
True.
I gotta put my eyes on. So, yeah, I mean, with that being said, like, for this prelim, I mean, this prelims contain at least one more OG here, and he's actually involved in the other and last pick'em of this card, at least on DraftKings. Let me actually pull up the FanDuel numbers real quick. I'll just spill it right now though. I'm talking Francisco Trinaldo taking on Danny Roberts.
Yeah, that's a good fight actually.
Yeah, Trinaldo's a minus 115. Roberts is minus 105. On FanDuel, I want to see if they have an underdog again. No, this is also a pick'em on FanDuel.
Wow,
so yeah.
Okay. That's all right. It's tough because it's at 170, and I think that Trinaldo's going to be a lot smaller in there, and he's got the potential to bully him.
How many has Trinaldo ever fought at 170?
Yeah, he's his last two. I think he's
okay.
won. I want to say, and they're both decisions. But
okay.
I think it's just like it depends on how Danny Roberts kind of does in the beginning, because I think Trinaldo is the type of fighter who's going to bully him, and sometimes Danny Roberts isn't like ready for that. But I think that his reach and just the fact that he's going to be like taller and like he's going to have probably a longer reach, I think that that's going to play into his favor, and I think Trinaldo's going to have a rough time closing the distance on him. And even in terms of trying to get him down, because Trinaldo has really good ground and pound that he could use, but I don't know. I just think that Danny Roberts is like, especially for like a British fighter, has pretty good like takedown defense. So I think that it will be mostly on the feet, and Danny Roberts will be able to win this fight from sticking and moving, hitting him from the outside. But he does have pop in his punches, so like he could finish it. But
I'm gonna pull up the good old Tapology real quick, and I want to see the age difference here because
I'm kind of curious. Trinaldo's 43. I know that for a fact.
Oh yeah, that's right. He has to be the oldest fighter.
Oh, he is. I'm like certain of that one. Yeah, he's got to be pretty 43.
Up there. So Danny Brown is
Danny Roberts.
Danny
Brown is, but.
Danny Brown's a music artist.
Oh.
Shout out Danny Brown. But Danny Roberts checking in. He's 34. So I mean, yeah,
he's not like young, but it's like still
exactly.
10 years. Almost 9 years.
No, I mean, yeah, good for Francisco Trinaldo, man. Especially now at 170, like. As a smaller welterweight,
he's still capable. Like there's a lot of guys who are younger than him.
The fact that he's still sticking around and whatnot,
and he's winning fights against guys who are not bad.
Getting booked for pay-per-views and whatnot, like whether it's a prelim or not. And like this clearly isn't like it's a walk in the park. This isn't going to be a walk in the park either for him.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, man,
it's gonna be a tough one.
I don't think this one, as far as like from a betting and a daily fantasy aspect go, like I don't think this pick'em is as appealing, or even I won't say nearly, but as appealing as a Randy Brown and Chaos Williams.
I think there's so many like safer options on this card that like it's not worth because there's so much variability in what can happen in this one. Man.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I mean, with that, like we can just get right into our main event. Not main event, but
I'd say maybe the last three fights.
Let's give
predictions.
Yeah,
I think
the three-headed monster of the main card. But I mean, just to like wrap it up, because like in terms of these prelims, like yeah, like even these prelims, we touched a lot on these prelims in terms of the industry and all the numbers and whatnot that they're thinking, but there's just some great fights. Period.
Yeah, I'll say this, and like we don't even have to really go into like the numbers. Like I think Blagoy Ivanov versus Delima, that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah,
I think Tracy Cortez like is gonna be really good. I think she's gonna do pretty well because she's a great wrestler. Just, oh my God, there's so many though. Like, I can't wait for this
card.
I just can't wait for this fight card.
I mean,
every fight I'm like almost looking forward to. There's only a couple that I didn't really know as much about. So, yeah, I'm hyped.
Yeah, man. Well, and then, of course, we've got this just absolutely stacked last 3 fights.
I say we
cap
go
it off.
Bottom to top for this. Just because.
Yeah. Then that's going to start us with Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson. You have I'm gonna I guess for the sake of content and whatnot, because once again, like, not to say like you sold me to the point like, yeah, Tony's definitely winning this fight, but
yeah, even I'm not totally sold. Yeah, I'm just like that's my pick right now.
No, that was a really like realistic like breakdown you gave, and like I wouldn't surprise me like really much at all if like it ends up happening, but I'm going to still go with the favorite, Michael Chandler, here. It's not going to be easy, I don't think.
How do you think he does it and when?
I could see something, like, pretty, like, heartbreaking, I guess, for Tony, like a split decision victory, or just, Chandler just does just enough, and the judges are, like, swayed, or Tony loses points for whatever reason, and that gets Chandler the victory. I just don't see Michael Chandler, or even Tony Ferguson. I don't see either of these guys leaving this fight clean.
No.
That's really all I can ask for. But
that's true.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a good fight, honestly, as with every fight.
I'll go with the favorite here once again. While the numbers like themselves, like the exact numbers, I might not be 100% with. I know you aren't either in terms of like agreeing with them, but I will side with the favorite here, Mike Chandler.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tony Ferguson. Like I said, I don't know how he wins it. I think that it could be a decision, but just for the sake of it, I'm gonna say he's gonna Darce him on a takedown. He's gonna get lazy. Chandler's gonna get lazy with one of them as he's getting tagged up in the third. And then Tony's gonna wrap his neck up, and he's gonna submit Chandler for the first time in Chandler's career. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Now that's a take right.
It's there. Bold, but I'm gonna go with it.
I love it.
Yeah,
so,
I need to get myself more excited too. That's what I'm saying. This is such a great fight, and I think that Tony can really get it done.
So Rose, and then now that takes us right to our championship fights. So obviously these being 5-round fights now. In which case, I was running it over in my head a little bit, but because I do really like to see like how Carla Esparza can win this fight. Like it's not like so far out of the realm whatsoever. Like the way she did it the first time, like I simply don't think happens again. No. But I still think she's capable of beating Rose. But
Rose just didn't have the same type of movement that she has now in that first fight.
I still just think Rose loses this fight by beating herself. And yeah, like you said it perfectly before, the farther this fight goes, the more it's just gonna play in Rose's advantage. So I'm gonna side with that and just go with Rose here, the -210 favorite.
Okay. By decision, you think she'll get like a later finish? What do you think will happen?
Yeah, I'll say I think the only way this fight ends in a finish is if Carla Esparza wins.
All right. That's actually interesting. I kind of... I feel like they could both finish it, honestly. Rose has got, like, a lot of power.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I think...
I just think for Rose, like, she just wants to, like, put this behind her more. And where she's going to do exactly whatever she's working on in her camp right now, whatever she's been working on and whatnot. Yeah. Like, I think whatever her game plan is, she's putting it exactly into this fight.
That's what I'm interested in seeing what it is too. Like if she's going to try and circle, she's going to just try and walk her down, constant offense. Because I think if it's constant offense, then I think she can get a finish. But I think if she's going to try and like pick her apart from a distance, I think Rose will probably win by like a close decision. Because I do see Carla getting at least 1 or 2 rounds, getting her down long enough to get that win. Because I don't think Rose is going to be trying to take her head off, because you honestly can't with Carla, because the moment you're out of position, she's going to get you down and keep you there. So, I don't know. I don't see Rose taking as many risks. She's just got to watch out with those low kicks, because she likes throwing leg kicks a lot. So, Carla's going to be looking for that, and she can't afford to be getting taken down off that. So, we'll see. But I got Rose by decision.
All right. And then finally, the lightweight championship main event. It's like you said, it's finally happening, and it's time to make that official pick.
Yeah,
in which case I'll
let you go first.
I can't. This man am I gonna sit here and say like he's unstoppable, like no one can touch him whatsoever? No, but I really do think it's the Do Bronx era right now we're living in, and I think it continues.
Same.
Yeah.
Do you see a finish?
Yes, I do see a finish. I don't see this fight going past 3 rounds.
Yeah, me neither.
It's just how that finish happens. I don't know. Like, if it's going to be on the feet, then I could very well see a Gaethje knockout. If Charles can get the takedowns and takes to the ground, then that's real deep trouble for Justin Gaethje. So, yeah, man. This I love it, man. This is awesome. It's just we just talked about so much, and there's just still.
I got Charles by submission like fairly early within the first 3 rounds.
Yeah,
I think he might have a rough first round, like he seems to have a lot, but I think he'll get through it, and I think he'll win by submission.
Okay, well, that's gonna do it for this loaded episode of the Sportsbook for this loaded UFC 274 card. If you wanted to touch on the PFL going on tonight.
Oh yeah, I'll keep that brief. Just like tonight, obviously 2 nice cards. Actually, well, one's today. Bellator is at like the main card is like 4 p.m. and that's on Showtime. Yoel Romero's fighting. Good main event, heavyweight title. Ryan Bader versus Czech Congo. Then the PFL has a good card later on. Kayla Harrison's fighting. Anthony Pettis, Rory McDonald. Like, it's just it'll be an entertaining night of fights on this Friday, which is pretty awesome to me.
To send us right into the weekend with
this awesome pay-per-view and Canelo versus Bivol. Dude, this is going to be so fun to talk about on Monday or Sunday technically, but
great weekend to be a fight fan, that's for sure.
Hell yeah.
So of course, as always, guys, hope you use this to make as much as you can and whatever way for this, because there's just so much, especially with just touch on it one more time, like which this could obviously change, in which the only way I'll see actual significant favorite numbers I could see going up for one reason or another is Andre Fialho's and Brandon Royval's, but I'm more looking at Matt Schnell's moneyline odds to see how that moves and see what if even more value opens up with that. But yeah, man, enjoy it. Enjoy the cards. Make as much money as you can. As always, we will see you on Monday.